Now, I'm not one to gossip, but I will bring you the tea. Welcome to Chronicle Speaks. Tommy Williams is the brother of daytime talk show queen Wendy Williams. The Williams family actually needs no introduction. Wendy has had them all on the show. This highly educated, well-versed family suffered a loss this year, and that was of the family's matriarch, Shirley Williams. Tommy and I discussed life in the Williams household growing up, how the family is dealing with the loss and grief, and how they're bonding well together in this tough time. So without further ado, here's Tommy.
Okay. All right. So I am here with the inspirational, funny, witty Tommy Williams, who happens to be the brother of daytime queen extraordinaire Wendy Williams. Tommy, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for the big introduction.
You like that introduction, huh?
Hang on a second. Hey, how you doing? Nobody's ever around, and
As
I'm
soon
sorry.
as you interview. That's okay. That's okay. So how are you doing, Tommy?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. Thank you very much.
And see, the thing I love about your channel, I've been watching you on YouTube for the past few weeks, and you have been so inspirational. You have brought me joy in days that I just don't have it. So I want to applaud you and commend you for that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Absolutely. I don't know where I conjured it up from. I think I guess, the angel, the new angel I have up there in the sky gave it to me, and really I could say that's the difference. Before COVID, before I caught COVID, I was still pushing out that energy, but it was on a smaller scope. It was just like within the family and, people I come across and stuff. But, then I just decided to broaden it out there and just get out there and just speak and let people know, who I am and what I'm thinking. And turns out I'm not alone with my thoughts.
Right. And you definitely are. And the thing that I really, really like about you, you and Wendy are so much alike with the wit and the just how you were talking to the person in the background. Like, I just love that about you. Is that something that you got from your mom, from your dad? Did you just grow up like that? Like, where is that coming from?
I think it might be from my dad, although suppressed, because, I never saw that side of him. But he was always like, nobody ever cursed in the house. It was always like, well, I was always like, if I heard somebody, one of my parents curse, I would say, oh my gosh, don't do that. Everything was just like, no, you're tainting my viewpoint of you. My mother, she's one off the cuff. How she feels is what she's gonna say. And she means it from the heart, but she means it, and and that's pretty much it. And she's a matter of fact type person. Wendy's a matter of fact type person. Alma's a matter of fact type person. My sister Wanda, not so much. She's in the law field. So I mean, in that field, you have to be very, it's a catwalk. You got to be very precarious as to how you, display yourself and what emotions you put out there. So she's very cautious, and also she's the reminder. And my father, I think she gets that from my father. She's like the remind app. Excuse me. There will be repercussions to things that you put out. So, but yeah, my mother, I would say.
Okay, and I've seen you interacting with your father lately. So are all of you kind of gathering around him and making sure that he's okay? Like, you guys together are hilarious.
You want me to fluff it up for Wendy?
Yes, please.
Kidding me?
No, I'm not.
What are you? How the dig is in there for me? Is it gonna be nice and fluffed up?
Your dad sounds just like James Earl Jones. He has this commanding voice, and he's just hilarious. But you guys together are hilarious. How's everything going with you and your dad, and kind of getting?
It's going fantastic. Going fantastic and famously. My dad and I, we've always had a great relationship, father-son relationship. There's an old TV show, Courtship of Eddie's Father, like it's back in the 70s, actually, kind of dating myself. I'm 53, so, it is what it is. But, my dad and I, we have a really good relationship all the way from ball games to, taking me outside and showing me everything to, talking to me about manhood and, tying a tie and everything. He's always there. I was very, very fortunate and blessed. And I don't forget. And I feel as though I owe him, to leave a good imprint on the world, to carry his words and his, acts of kindness and all that he's taught us, and do the right thing. My mother, she always said, if you do the right thing, you never have to worry about anything, Tom. If you do the right thing and, you have to, if and do what's in your heart, you'll be fine. My father and I's relationship is it's good, and we have a good one. Do everything. Like a couple of weeks ago, I cut his hair. Now he used to cut my hair. I had one haircut outside of my father in 53 years, and that was when I went off to college, and I had them shave my head bald, which was at 17 and a half or 18 years old, and I've been bald ever since. And that was the one time I got a haircut outside of my dad's hands. And so now I'm cutting his hair, and I'm like, Dad, I owe you a bald spot. My hands get weak,
Are you kidding?
I couldn't wait for this opportunity so I can give you what you gave me. Some bald spots.
Huh?
Starting out the day right.
Why don't you pull that? You didn't comb it all the way down, dummy.
I'm not done.
And I make the sound effect. But we have fun. We do a lot of things. It's just great. I can't even explain the joke and the jokes and the humor that my parents have put up with me and Wendy. Because they called us the B-whammers, and we were always putting the whammy on somebody, all the way from like Spencer's, that was like a little gimmick store, and it might still be open if it didn't get COVID. But we used to get everything from whoopee cushions to the spray fart smells that they used to have. And they had it around for a long time. Everything they made, we bought, and if we didn't buy it, we'd actually do it. Now, did we throw shit in the bag and make it? No, we didn't do that. But we didn't. But we would make stuff. Make stuff happen. Although Wendy did fart in bottles. Wendy farted in bottles and put the cap on it. Put the cap on, right?
Really?
And bottle them. We'd bottle them into like, Coca-Cola bottles or some shit like that, and put it in my sister Wanda's closet. And it was sitting in the closet. She was off to college. So, I mean, hey, it wasn't my ass. So, and it wasn't my idea. So I could talk about it. Sorry, Wendy. I think she already told about it. If she didn't, she probably
I didn't hear that story.
in her head. But my parents put up with all of our antics and things, and they were great. They're fantastic people all the time. And I love them for that, because they never choked us up. They never, they never stifled us from being who we are, and, very inquisitive kids, and turned into very inquisitive and, educated adults, and very happy people for the planet now, because happy and a carefree, but still parameters, still moral values and things like that, morals and values instilled. And I think they did a stand-up job.
I think they did too. I am sorry for your loss. This is something that we both share in common. We've talked about it. I've lost my mom as well. And I just like your courage and your, your wisdom, and you're still helping people on your YouTube page. Like, I know I was isolated. I didn't come out for weeks, probably a month. And I just love your spirit and how you're able to still move on. Is that something you kind of learned with growing up, or like, where's that coming from? Where's your strength coming from?
I think it's the strength in just accepting. It's the strength of accepting. You know what? Yeah, I mean, with my mother having passed, immediately, going through COVID, I really got a good sense of, I got a great relationship with the Lord, with God. So I'm like, my dad gave me a picture. Okay, he gave me a picture of, of Jesus or our Lord, because in the corner of it said our Lord of the picture of the image. So it was actually torn out of a Life magazine and given to him by his great aunt, which would be my great great aunt, who just this past weekend, she would have turned, actually Sunday, she would have turned 125 years old. She passed away at 105 years old. And that was my Aunt Pod. And she gave it to my dad before he went off to college at Lincoln University, HBCU, in Pennsylvania, and he had gone there his freshman year, and with this picture of the Lord from Life magazine that she had given him. After that, he kept it above his bed in college. He kept it above his bed in the barracks when he was in the Army. He kept it above his bed when he was single before he got married, and he kept it above his bed, the bed of he and his wife for 63 years.
Okay.
So 71 years that picture has been in the family, and it's been mine for since 1998 when they had retired from Florida. Going, and when I was going through COVID, I found that picture when I was quarantining with my wife because she had COVID as well, and I was thumbing through some stuff and just digging around, and I found that picture in a yearbook of mine from high school, and I was like, wow, there it is. And I was like, but I wasn't like, wow, there it is. I was like, ow,
No way.
on my head. I was going through it. There it is. There it is.
I cannot.
I mean, so I struggled back. I got back to my quarantining area and tacked it up with tape onto a picture that I have of the Great Sea with a mighty ship and a sailboat, and that also speaks volumes because I'm a sailor, and I love the water, and hence there's the pool, and I'll be taking a dip once we conclude, which I really don't want to conclude. I love talking. This is great. So I took that picture and I put it above my bed my quarantining station, and I prayed. And I told my parents, I called them that evening, and I called and I maybe the next day, because I was really going through it. I had not all the signs because I was asymptomatic. I'll tell you about that one. And praying got me through it, and I told my parents that, I prayed for the first time. Besides that, now I lay me down to sleep, and I guess, and God bless mommy and daddy and Wendy and Wanda. When I was a kid, that's how I prayed.
That was
and I also prayed with one eye open, and I didn't know, and I'm thinking, and I'm like, counting stuff and thinking and picking my teeth, pulling the wedgie out of my pajamas, but now it's like, you're older and you want to focus, and also you could do all that stuff, but just have a conversation. It's a conversation.
Right.
Life is just about a conversation, and I'm realizing that more so than ever. And so that's like the big conversation, and I look forward to praying each day. I did, because I wanted to get the balance in my life. I needed that. You won't find me on a pulpit, I don't think, anytime soon, but you will see me, on my knees each night. And it's for a reason. It's to have that conversation of understanding, of direction. And so, I asked for that guidance and some strength. And I think that's what really gave me the strength, and I'm back, I know, to deal with and be so positive, which is your initial question.
You got it. Came back to it, though. You came back to it. Now that you're praying more, has there been any time that you've kind of felt your mom's spirit? Because I know with me, I feel my mom all the time. Certain things that I know I'm not supposed to do, I can kind of feel her tell me, like, what, don't do that. So, I mean, are you feeling your mom's spirit now? Is that helping you out as well?
All the time. Actually, you know what? I have several of her hats, some of her hats, and that I've been wearing. My mother was a hat person, and I'm a hat person, and so I've acquired those hats. One in particular is a Yankee hat. Really, I actually put mine up because now I have hers, and it means so much more.
Now, I know a lot of people have been worried about Wendy. Wendy, had some shows, and people were worried about her during this time. And I know you had mentioned.
Now maybe some of you can see what Wendy's been going through. I mean, it's mental health, y'all. I mean, it's life. She might be a celebrity and out there on the stage and everything, but you know what? She's a child of somebody as well. She's a sister. She's an aunt. She's a mother. You know how that goes, ladies.
She had mentioned many weeks ago, and
my mom passed away many weeks ago.
You mentioned last Sunday.
Past last Sunday, and you see, I've been doing my videos and moving along and haven't been sharing. Or
did you guys talk about that? Was there ever a conversation about that, or?
Yeah, with Wendy being in the industry and stuff, and me not having been in the industry, or I guess me kind of teetering, but not viewing myself as in the industry, I had no plans whatsoever at, talking about what was going on with my family and what was taking place. That was something that, I believe Wendy was looking at, sharing with the staff or whatever have you, because my parents were on the show quite a bit and became, quite the staple on the show. And, moving forward, everybody has their way with dealing with things in a way of sharing. Wendy's a very sharing individual, and sharing is caring, and there was no malicious intent, naturally, especially when it comes to my mother, because she was the best. And we, definitely, her and respect her all the time. But I think she wanted to put it out, and let people know, what was happening. And the crazy thing was, so did I, after hearing that Wendy was going to be, doing that. Wendy decided to go ahead and put out, the fact that my mom had passed. And I said, you know what, with all the things that people are sharing, I don't want to hold this to my vest. There's no shame, if anything, because I didn't know how to even tell my friends, my closest friends. I didn't tell them. I wore it all. I was doing my videos. I was, hey, this is Tommy Williams, whatever have you. And people were looking and saying, hey, and I'm a very difficult read. Like I could have a nail going straight to my foot right now, and you won't know it.
Right.
Because my mother always said, what did she say? Well, I know what she wanted us to do. I don't know what she said. Sorry, Mom. I don't exactly know what she said. I can't remember. But I know she was always like, you know what? Don't wear that shit on your sleeve, Man up, push forward. Because at the end of the day, it was a combination. My mother saying, you know what? To stay strong and strength, my mother. My father is always like, it's a cold world, and at the end of the day, nobody cares. And when he says that, it like really pissed me off all the time. At the end of the day, nobody cares. I can go to him and tell him, oh gosh, Dad, what? He's like, listen, and his face was just like James Earl, his voice and everything,
Yeah.
At the end of the day, nobody cares, Tommy. Nobody cares. I'm like, so you tell me you don't care? And he was like, listen. Who cares?
Right,
and I'm like that. So but I just had to I had to let people know what was going on with myself. I know that for myself, I was very in tune with when things took place, the timeline and things, because day by day it was a struggle for me. I know that for myself and being in contact with the people and reading individuals' emails and chats and stuff like that, it's important to me to be connected with the people, my constituents. So, as so I think it was a little different than Wendy, because she wasn't her announcement wasn't prompted by others sharing. It wasn't like, well, my mom just passed, and she could say, well, mine did too, just last week. For me, I was having a lot of people engage in conversation with me and informing me about passings in their family, people having COVID, what's going on, and when. You talked about 6 years for yourself. Right. I remember dates because it's important to me, because it just happened to me and I want to connect. This is, everybody is my therapist as I get through this. So it wouldn't help me to throw something out there in the backfield and them regurgitate and say, well, look, he's not real.
Right.
I'm telling him what's going on with me, and he's over here with the half pass. I want to give it to him right there in the bread basket so we can score that point. And so that's where I was with it. Wendy, I think everybody deals with things. Everybody has their different coping mechanisms,
right,
and their different way to deal with grief. Going through a pandemic right now. This is all brand new. Wendy's up by herself with cats. I'm a dog lover, so I don't know how she does it. I'm not saying I like cats. I love cats. I love an animal lover. But you know what? At any rate, so she's up there with the cats, and Lord knows what's going on up there. And so she felt the need to just go ahead and let it out, but it went out in a way that it just, it wasn't exactly the timeline that it didn't line up with mine. If anybody didn't have a point of checks and balances, then it would have flown just fine. Right. But because I just on in the screen, and Wendy's probably like, the hell,
Right.
I didn't even know he was here, But
that's
so
okay.
just check things out. but it's all good. We talked about it, and it is what it is, and everybody grieves differently. Like,
And I brought that up in the video that I did. More than likely, Wendy's grieving differently. I know I put in my head, my mom was on vacation. That vacation has
Yeah,
lasted 6 years. So, I mean, everybody grieves differently. I'm still waiting for her to
yeah,
get back. So, everyone grieves differently. And you know what?
yeah,
I can accept that. And I can accept the way you grieve, the way Wendy grieves. We all, unfortunately, we're going to
absolutely,
have to go through it at some point. And you never
yeah,
know how you're going to deal with it. People can say what they want
absolutely.
to say. You don't know how you're going to deal with it until it's your time to deal with it.
And
So,
we're dealing with a lot right now. I mean, there's a lot of mental health issues and things like that. Everything leads. I mean, it doesn't have mental health. Isn't like cuckoo, cuckoo. It could take you off. It's just being off balance from how you would normally function mentally, your mental state. And
right.
this is different. It's a different time right now. So people are doing things differently.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we have a movie coming out, the Wendy Williams movie. Will there be a Tommy in there? Someone playing Tommy?
Yeah, well, you know what? The movie, we'll see. We'll see how that all pans out. I don't want to, really let the cat out of the bag with that.
Okay.
I will say that there is a foreground to the big picture. The big picture being actually the movie actually rolling out. And that is the testimony. Not testimony, but it's the documentary.
Okay.
Where we have people kind of talking about life growing up with Wendy, and you actually have the people. So my parents, so it's going to be a really it's be something. I'm looking forward to seeing it, because then I can see my mom, really right there, talking about the family and the good old days and stuff, and it's going to be, I'm sure I want to sit back with family and watch that. That's going to be I didn't even think about that until now, but that's going to be a really, really great time. But during that time, we're all playing ourselves. I'm on there. The folks from Lifetime came on out. We did some footage, and then they had to naturally edit and edit and edit it down because I'm very winded. And so
Yes.
they were like, okay, camera guys over here, like, oh my God, this guy can really rattle. But they're gonna edit it down and then get what they need. I know Wendy was like, it's very important that you get my brother, because a lot that went on, in childhood and then moving forward and then early career and radio and everything. I was right there,
Okay.
with her, which so I really had a big stake in that portion of the documentary.
Okay.
But it's gonna be exciting.
Okay. And speaking of moving forward, I know Wendy got into a lot starting in her radio days. Did anyone ever confront you for being the brother of Wendy Williams? Because I know it was a lot of people after her. And I know you're acting and
Man,
all of that. Was anybody after you at any point?
you know what? They weren't after. Nobody was after me. But a lot of times, you know, you know, people, a lot of my friends, a lot of people who are, I guess, proud, would say, that's Wendy Williams' brother. You know who his sister is and stuff like that. And I was like, is it a blessing and a curse? Definitely,
Right.
growing up. I mean, I'm close. I'm protective of my sisters, and everything like that. And but I would always talk to my friends, please, less is more, man. I can't, this whole bare knuckle boxing thing is getting old. I don't want to roll around in the dirt trying to defend people who aren't here to defend themselves. This is crazy.
Right.
Yeah, so it worked out. I can't stand that bitch. And I'm like, here we go. Jeez. And I have to, and it would ruffle my feathers early on, and then sometimes, I would say, listen, yeah, and then after a while, I got, people realized my character and that we're two different individuals, and they also, a lot of times, if you're nice, my mother always says, if you're nice to people, then if you live good and you do the right thing, then you don't have to worry about any bad things coming back on you.
Right.
Wendy's jock. So, naturally it welcomes a lot of fever. People who like or appreciate the people that Wendy was speaking of or about, they might come to their defense and say, what, I don't like her, she's a bitch or whatever have you, because of her putting this information out. The gay rappers, that's not right, blah, 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 whatever. I mean, hey, it sells controversy.
Right.
But my thing is that, look, I'm her brother. That's my sister. That's my parents' daughter. You know what I'm saying? Just chill. choose your words, man. You know, I mean, we don't have to take this. Just maybe tell it to somebody else.
Right.
Keep it to yourself.
Right.
But that it's not gonna end in a good way right here. It's
Yeah.
not.
I can
So
tell.
we
'Cause,
work through
yeah.
things. Yeah, we work through things, and I've been in it in a lot of situations, and Wendy knows it, and and then that's what always developed controversy when or problems when we would have our little situations and stuff, which we've had along our way. But because I know how hard I ride for her and for my family, I would never want to bring myself to understanding why we have conflict or why whatever, we're adversaries or whatever have you. So yeah, but it happens, and it
Right.
happens when you love hard and when you're a rider. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a rider.
Right.
I ride for my people.
I'm glad,
Yeah.
and I'm glad to hear about that.
Dealing with. I did speak with Wendy about taking time off, and I said that I was going to say it on this platform because I'm really happy. It's rare that Wendy and I get a chance to really sit down and talk about stuff, and that she and I could really hammer a point home and make she thinks that I'm making some sense. So this was a time where I really felt that she heard me, when this whole many came out. I think that, and that misconstruing that people probably saw, and, well, when exactly did your mom pass? Nobody owes anybody a timeline. Nobody owes anybody clarification. But what I did want to do for Wendy is I wanted to share the fact that, in my world, when I need a day off or when I feel a certain type of way or that I can't function to 100%, I take a day off, and I know that you have committed to your fans and you're committed to yourself and everything. And both my parents were the type to not take off, especially my dad. He has a heck of a work ethic, and so does Wendy. I mean, she's excellent with that, And I'm like, geez, you have the show. They have these green shows and stuff. Why don't you have them dig one out and just chill, Take some of that money and stretch out. I know I would, but
Yeah, some
no.
people grieve by working. They have to stay busy, and I
Yeah.
think Wendy is one of those types where she can't, just sit still.
Yeah,
I don't think she.
and you know what? And I get it. And now I get it because now I'm using the public and my stuff, my platforms to grieve myself. So I totally get it. And that's what started our conversation. But I said to her, I said, with things coming at you and everything, sometimes you may need to take a little pause. And then sometimes you need to go towards the source of energy, go towards the light. And the light right now for you is family. So she came down and she's been down here for some time. And, she's been enjoying herself down here, and we've been enjoying her. And I'm so glad that, that it was a point that was made and taken with love, and that she took that well-needed time off. Because you know what? Not only did she need that time, but we needed her to take that time because, I really needed my sister. I really needed both sisters. I really need the group hug. And I couldn't do it without Wendy being here as well.
I am so glad that you guys are able to share the time together. From somebody that's been through it, rally behind your father, y'all hug him, cook for him, massage his feet, whatever he needs, y'all be there for him because this is gonna be a time for him right now. He's in the beat by himself. Like, this is different. So really be there for him as much as you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I tell him all the time. I mean, he's not just my dad. He's also my fraternity brother. He's also, and now he's like my big brother. And he'll be 90 coming up in February, God willing. And I'm the type. He's always been hard on me growing up. Kind of. I've been in the military without being in the military. He had me eating Scrapple and SOS, which is shit on a shingle. For those military people and all that stuff. And get up when it's time to get up. He'll come in there and rattle the bed or start shaking. And he's like, he's standing over top and let's go. We got to cut trees down. We got to do 80 sheet loads, which is taking all the leaves out of the backyard, and took 80 sheets loads for us to take it all to the front, clean around the tennis courts and stuff. But it was crazy. But I say that because now I'm older. Now I'm at the point where he could use support, but he doesn't need a kid glove. So he might get different, and we all come from different places. And my mother always says, you're 3 different kids with 3 different personalities. And now that military type has seeped into me. So when I, give him haircuts and when I spend time, it's like, come on, Dad, get up, make your bed. let's go. I'm going to make the breakfast. Come on, get out here. I'm going to have it ready in 10 minutes, and he's up and at him and doing what he needs. It's almost like, dun, 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 dun. He's having like flashbacks, like, I just don't want him to look for a gun, but you know what I'm saying? Just doing it in his sleep, like,
Right.
I'll kill you, but, at any rate, he, he's having fun. I'm having fun. I go pick the man up tomorrow. We're having a super duper time. You mentioned toes. I'm not going to tackle his feet, but we are going for pedicures because he insisted when he saw my feet. I swim all the time. I'm getting ready when we finish up to go do my laps. Hey, I also have my mother's fan weights because, I actually was doing the physical therapy with my mother and my father. I was taking them in the pool, which I did, and I loved doing it. And I had my parents both in the water, and these are my mother's ankle weights, and I wear them. I put them on my ankles, and I swim with them. 5-pound ankle weights, and I swim about 20 laps. 1, 2, 3, and I'm telling you, I don't know where I got it from. Because I when I first got in, I was like, she's pretty heavy, but I just get in there and I can't help but think about my mom when I'm doing it. And even right now, it's getting a little chilly outside, but you know what? I'm going to do it, because I'm out here now and I have this stuff in front of me and I have my trunks on. So I have no choice. I'm just about in the water. But I say that there's another sign of my mother, and then I'm out of here. I'm sorry.
Well, I think you should have anything that belongs to your mother. Keep that with you at all times. It's going to be so much, so helpful for you. So helpful, Tommy. Like anything that you can have, looking at pictures, talking to your siblings about different times. Mama might have went off on us about something. Just that family time, it's going to be so helpful, Tommy. It's helpful and therapeutic.
Yeah, it certainly is. And and I know I was talking about the nail salon. My dad, he said we're gonna go to the nail salon this weekend. The one that he and my mother used to go. My mother used to go to, and then she insisted that he takes care of his feet because he had some rough dogs too. And so he said, he looked at mine and he said, I got the place for you, so we'll go there on Saturday. So I'm looking forward to that. And those are the things that I'm really looking for. I mean, all week I've been talking about just going and getting my feet done with my father, and it's like the countdown. And so, definitely, and I appreciate your sharing with me because that meant a lot. That's like the strength and the wind beneath my wings, because, you're moving on. I know you're making your mom ultra, ultra proud, and I want to do the same because, I know that she's always believed in me and always believed that I could be successful in whatever I do. And now that I found my niche and now that I feel my calling is actually helping people, and then through media, and I guess that's it. So I'm going to use it. I'm not going to abuse it, and I'm going to believe that everything is all right. And I'm going to continue to, to use that angel on my back, on my shoulder, to as a checkpoint, a point of reference to make sure I'm flying straight and doing the right thing.
Well,
But I certainly do.
Is there any closing remarks that you want to bring to anybody, Wendy's fans, the watchers, your fans now, because you're becoming famous on YouTube yourself? So is there anything? Any close?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't gonna get fit. I appreciate that and love everybody too. I'm sorry. But I forgot Lux Media. Lux Media Studios is how people could find me. Lux Media Studios Facebook page, and that's LUXE Media Studios on Facebook. And then you scroll it down, you'll see my show. My episodes appear every week on a Monday at 4:00. So you could find them there, and then you'll find them on other platforms as well. And then as I have more, like it's supposed to be coming to iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Alexa and stuff. But it's just a slow process, and I'm good because it hasn't been that slow. I just keep myself busy enough with with people and trying to help people and just trying to just be myself. Where when it happens, it'll happen. And I'm going to believe that everything is all right. And I'm going to continue to, to use that angel on my back, on my shoulder to, as a checkpoint, a point of reference to make sure I'm flying straight and doing the right thing. Well, but I certainly do appreciate you having me on here.
It was so good talking to you, Tommy. I know your mother is proud of you. I'm proud of you. So I
No,
just want
man.
you to continue going on. If you ever need me for anything, just to talk, scream, yell. Like I said,
Yeah.
we all go through it. We have to go through it sometimes. I'm here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Chronicle Speaks.
Now, before I end this video, I want to tell you about a company called Ash Kicking. Now, you know your girl Chronicles would not promote a company without doing one of those thorough Chronicle Speaks investigations, honey. And Ash Kicking definitely passed the test. Y'all make sure to check out ashkicking.com for one of the best 100% natural home fragrance and beauty products, honey. And use my code Chronicles at checkout for an extra 15% off just for you. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of my new episodes.